This is the Triple Play Fantasy Basketball Show. I am host, Coach James Lewis, for a special 2022 mock draft lottery edition. I haven't done a mock draft since before the season. Things have quite changed, and with March Madness right around the corner, today is February 28th, and we're getting ready for what's coming next. We are a proud member of So let's get right into it. There's going to be a lot of names that have been left out. They are in my first round, but only certain people can make the top 14, or in this case, 15. I had to give a little shout out here to the person that's fallen the deepest since my first draft. That is Jaden Hardy of the G League Ignite. Just a smooth offensive game, really long potential from deep. Reminds me a little bit of Anthony Simons with his offensive package and potential. He's just been very inefficient. His shot selection has just been porous. He does have a 6'10" wingspan, being a nice size, 6'5", 200 guard. He can really score the ball, but I think that his a lack of efficiency and his struggles in the G League have made him drop big time. But he has showed potential. He had a 31.9 assists, 3 rebound game just before February against the Go-Go in the G League. So I wouldn't give up on Hardy. He has huge potential still to come. So I would take a gamble if I'm in the middle of that first round. Yes, this is a little bit outside of that lottery. At 14, there's going to be a G League Ignite theme here, as I'm taking MarJon Beauchamp as my selection. I think he just really has solid NBA defensive skills. He's a 3-level scorer offensively. He's been truly efficient and the best player on that G League Ignite team. So give me MarJon Beauchamp. I know he's a little bit older. He's not really that first year out of high school, and he's had some troubles as far as getting back into the game of basketball. But I've loved Beauchamp from that first G League game and what he looks like and his potential. I know he only shoots 24% in the G League right now from the three-point line, but if you see his form and stroke, I think that it'll translate. I think that he's going to be a good 3-and-D potential player, role player in the NBA. One more teammate from the land down under, Dyson Daniels, maybe the person that benefited the most from the Rising Stars Challenge in All-Star Weekend. The guy just looked like he fit and on both sides of the ball. You've seen him throw in full court, outlet passes instantly. He doesn't mess around with the ball. His shot is a little funky for my taste, but he can guard multiple positions and switch, and that's what you're looking for with players in the NBA these days. He can play make a little bit. He just seems like he's got a smooth all-around game, even though it doesn't look completely smooth. I think it translates into winning basketball, and I could see him going lottery for sure, top 15. At 12, a senior from Kansas, Ochai Agbaji, has been on watch all year. Wooden Award candidate. He's giving you 20 a game, 5 rebounds, super efficient, 50% from the floor, 43 from 3, 76 from the free throw line. He had 37.7 rebounds, 2 steals against Texas Tech. He's put Kansas on his back. He's gotten better each in every season in college basketball, much like Io DeSumo last year, who came out as a senior. I think, there are 20 teams that are regretting the fact that they let him drop so far in the second round. I like Ochai Agbaji as someone that's getting better each and every year, and I see him doing that in the NBA. Kudos to him for coming back another year, because it's definitely benefited him, and it would be head scratching to see him drop out of the lottery. At 11, point guard from Kentucky, Tyty Washington, has a smooth offensive game. He's been dealing with some injuries recently that's kept him on the floor, but averaging nearly 13 points, 4 rebounds, 4 assists. He does a little bit of everything. And against Georgia, he showed his playmaking potential, as he had 17 points, 5 rebounds, and 17 assists. He hasn't necessarily racked up the assists, especially with Wheeler in the backcourt, who does a lot of that playmaking. But Tyty Washington, he's electric. He's exciting. He's another Kentucky guard, and they've been hitting. They've been hitting. Cal's really got been on a string here. So Tyty Washington is looking like possibly the best point guard to come out this year in a weak point guard class, if I do say myself. Canada stand up. Ben Mathurin of Arizona came back for his sophomore year, and he looked bouncy in the summer when he was leading his national team. But for Arizona, they're just ranked number 2 as of today, although they did take a pretty bad loss to Colorado. Ben Mathurin shows explosiveness when leaping. He's really good in transition. He's a smooth shooter from on 3. I think that translates. I think he's maybe not a starter, but Terrence Ross-esque. Like, this kid can really score, and he has super potential with that athleticism. So I'd be surprised to see him drop too far outside the top 10, and he is my number 10 pick. I go from someone with big potential to someone that I feel has the safest floor almost of anybody here, in Keegan Murray. 23 a game. He's super duper efficient. He runs well off of screens. He really has that prototypical body to defend multiple positions at 6'8", 225, giving you 2 steals, 1.3 blocks a game. So it shows his defensive potential, but then giving you also 8 rebounds against Illinois at 26 points, 4 rebounds, 6 assists. He's a safe 3-and-D candidate, and we know the NBA needs those people. So Keegan Murray with a safe pick, and he could be a really good role player as your, maybe your 5th best starter on a really high level team in the NBA. At number 8, I'm going on Jalen Duren. I think based on fit, he could either go between 5 to even 10, possibly. But he's kind of that old school big. He reminds me a little bit of Bam Adebayo as far as his raw defensive and power potential. He's got a 7'5" wingspan, so he can really cover the interior. He is a force down there. He is a lob catching sensation. I really like Jalen Duren. Depending on the fit, it's hard to choose a player like that and have a franchise run around it without the versatility as far as being an efficient scorer outside of 2 inches away from the paint. But there are teams that need a player like this, and I mean, he is certainly maybe the most powerful of athletes that we have in this draft. He gave you 22 points, 19 boards, 2 steals, and 5 blocks against Western Kentucky. That just showcased all of his abilities and potential that he does have. At 7, another twin outside of Keegan Murray, Johnny Davis plays with his twin brother. He came back for his sophomore year, and for me, he's been the most impressive returning player. I guess you can make an argument for Jaden Ivey that we'll talk about soon, but Johnny Davis is just a smooth criminal on both sides of the floor. He really can defend at this college level. We'll see how that translates to the league. But he reminds me a little bit of Brandon Roy and Manu with his craftiness and his ability to rebound the basketball as a guard. I really love much of everything about this player, but one thing that stands out in particular is he's the best against the best competition this year. Against top 50 opponents, he averages 29 points, 12 rebounds, 2 assists. And he's played 12 of those games. You get a large sample size when you're playing in the Big Ten. And Johnny Davis, yes, I have him at 7, but I wouldn't be surprised he goes, 5, 6, or 7. I don't see him going outside of that range. He's just been consistent all year long on both ends of the floor. And to me, he's a safe player, safe pick as a starting caliber guard in today's NBA. At 6, someone that's come on as of late. He comes from very good stock. Adrian Griffin Jr., AJ Griffin, lately has been torching, and he's a visual spectacle on the floor. He's an amazing athlete, great leaper. It looks like he could really defend on the next level, and with his shot being so high, it looks like it just can't be blocked. He's shooting 49 from 3-point range. That is unbelievable. Watching his tapes in high school, I really didn't see the consistency. Now I do have. It's a bit worrisome with his injury history, but when he's clicking, he looks like he has the potential of a Jimmy Butler. He just is a guy that you can't really pass on when you're talking about swinging for the fences, or someone that has max potential. He could really be a special player, and it might not work out on the next level. But if I'm sitting there early first round, I'm really thinking hard about AJ Griffin and his potential going forward. We saw that in full display against North Carolina, where he dropped 27-4. Like I said, as of late, he's been on fire. He wasn't playing as much at the beginning of the season. I think he was still recovering from that injury, but he's playing confident basketball. And him and Banchero are must watch, as well as Trevor Keels, who's been inconsistent. But we'll talk about him later. I really do like me some Trevor Keels. At 5, I don't know if this player is coming in the draft. I really don't. Shaedon Sharpe, he won the NBA, hasn't made the full announcement on whether they'll let him be in this year's draft, or if he's going to decide to go back to Kentucky. I know that Calipari really wants him and says that if he does come back, this will be his team and he'll be the number 1 overall pick. Last time we saw him, the junior year in high school, he averaged 24 points and 6 rebounds, and he's the number 1 player of that class of 2022. Resides from Canada. Shaedon Sharpe is a smooth killer guard. We haven't seen him recently, so I don't really know where to plug him, but if you watch his highlight tapes, he just screams NBA kind of star. If I would pick him at 5, above Griffin, above Davis potential, even though we haven't seen him. He might be the best guard in this entire draft if he's eligible. And if not, he's going to be there with Scoot Henderson, who I think has taken a little bit away from Jaden Hardy's shine over there at G League Ignite, and Victor W as number 1 guy from France. Number 4, one of my favorite players to watch in college basketball is Jaden Ivey. This sophomore, who glad he came back. He would have probably been a top 20 pick maybe last year. Now there's no way he goes outside of top 5, and some people are putting him at 2, 3 because of his ability to in possessions. They're giving him the ball down the stretch, and he's playmaking. He's so athletic. He's dunking on people. We saw what he did to Rutgers. He was working out with John Morant, and I feel like that has helped translate when you're around greatness. It helps you step up. His mother is the coach of the Fighting Irish. He comes from basketball. He's lived and breathed it, and playing for Team USA, I think he took a step up. And everybody on that Team USA has benefited. But every game, it seems like he gets a little bit better. He had 26 points, 4 rebounds, 6 assists against Illinois. He's averaging 17 on a year, 5 rebounds, 3 assists. Does a little bit of everything. He reminds me a little bit of Donovan Mitchell in his athleticism and potential to get better. So I would love to draft a Jaden Ivey. And he might even be a little higher on my list. Someone that has dropped 1 position. I know people are going to be mad at me, but Paolo Banchero, 3rd overall pick in my mock draft. He averages 17 points, 8 rebounds, 3 assists. Smooth isolation player. Reminds me a little bit of Carmelo as far as how he can really isolate you, get a bucket. He had 20 points, 12 rebounds, 7 assists against FSU. He had 9 assists in the game that I was watching yesterday. 1 block, 1 steal. He's ready to play NBA basketball right now at 6'10", 250. He's heavy. We saw what he looked like in that matchup head-to-head with Chet Holmgren. Took him to the cup in that first half. He's had, I don't know, a weird kind of season as far as like the cramps are concerned, him getting tired and having to sit and rest a little bit, and then like the DUI situation. But I mean, I think that we moved past that. I think that he shows a bright future and will be getting big buckets in the league. I can see him as a 20-point scorer in a couple years from now. So I think that's almost a steal at 3. But I like the other 2 people ahead of him as far as mold on winning basketball. And at number 2, Jabari Smith, somebody that really head scratched that maybe potentially won 6'11", 220, has just the Josh Smith build as far as this guy looks like he belongs. He has an elite high jumper. He catches it. He'll shoot it right off the catch. He's averaging 17 points, 7 rebounds, 2 assists, while shooting 42% from 3-point line, while shooting 81 from the free throw line, giving you 1.3 steals, 1.0 blocks. He had 31 points, 3 assists, 4 rebounds against Vandy. And as of late, he's just, you can see it in his eyes. He wants the ball in his hands. He wants to lead. He has everything in the bag for as far as being an elite, huge post player that can provide greatness on both ends. He needs a little bit of work with his ball handling. That could definitely improve. But he reminds me a little bit of Rashard Lewis on the perimeter, and he is a lethal out there. At number 1, my same returning number 1 player, give me Chet Holmgren, the 7-footer with 7'6" wingspan, just blocks everything. He averages 3.6 blocks. He can handle and transition and pull up from 3 from deep. He's truly a unicorn. He shoots 62% from the field. He averages 14 points, 10 rebounds, 2 assists. He, to me, can affect the game of winning, much like we see Evan Mobley doing for Cleveland right now. He's got Marcus Camby-esque type of defensive prowess. And those players, they really do not come along. And you could fit him with any lineup. I think he can play the 3. I think he played the 4, the 5. Whereas, like, you got a Jalen Duren, you're not as flexible with your lineups. But he could play with a Duren. He can play with another shooting big like him, and Jabari Smith would be just lethal. So that's it. That's how you have it. This is 2.0. This was our 2022 NBA mock draft lottery. Let me know what you think. We'll be giving you a first full round. My other buddy Kevin and I will be doing mock drafts as we get closer to the NBA draft, and I'll definitely be hitting a 3.0 once March Madness gets here and we see some of these players play in the tournament, because there's always somebody that shows their face to improve. Shout out everybody at Triple Play. I'm out. See you next time.